Horn, 3.2 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, but I have to think as a freshman, that's a big first outing. And obviously, the righty has matured in a year of experience.
And this Northwestern team, an almost completely different team from the one Texas faced a year ago. They replaced 6 defensive starters from last year and their ace in the circle as well. One of the few remaining starters is this batter, Kansas Robinson, a sophomore out of Indianapolis, all Big Ten first teamer. Gutierrez grabs that one away.
Well, you see the off-speed pitch there, and that is what Citlali Gutierrez does so well. She's able to change speeds with a changeup, 2 off-speed pitches, a drop and a curve, while she locates her drop ball in and out, can move up in the zone, but she has been focused really on better locations this season, and that has been the reason she has been so effective, the locations and the change of speeds in those locations.
Strike 1 to Kelsey Nader. Texas comes in the #1 overall seed in the postseason for the first time in program history. The Longhorns are 48-7 on the year. Northwestern has made it 3 straight Big Ten titles. Again, they trailed early last night, but ended up taking down St. Francis. They are 34-11 on the season, at 19-3 in Big Ten play. Texas top 10 in the nation in batting average and ERA. This is their lowest ERA heading into the postseason in 5 years. They came into the regional with an ERA 1.82. Alyssa Washington slides over in time. A couple of ground outs to start things off for Northwestern's offense. Here comes Angela Zedak. One more look at that one.
This is a great job by Alyssa Washington, knowing that she has to get rid of the ball quickly. That ball not hit hard. She has to slide over, and the speed of Nader makes that a bang-bang play. But clean defense is going to be key for Texas as well.
They were perfect last night defensively with Mac Morgan in the circle. Didn't commit an error. Texas 20-1 on the year when playing mistake-free ball in the field. Here's the veteran Zedak, 4-year starter in left field. It's a big-time power hitter for Kate Drohan's squad. 36 career home runs, including 1 last year against Texas. One and 2 to Zedak.
Well, the familiarity is a piece that, while a lot of people want to point out that they did play, so much happened, especially as a freshman. So you're talking about Citlali Gutierrez and her growth, as well as the freshmen for Northwestern that were in the lineup last year and their growth. So you really, well, yes, you've seen each other. You haven't seen each other at your best to this point. You have to know Kansas Robinson's different, Citlali Gutierrez is different. So the matchups of those returners is going to be very different this year as opposed to early last season.
Into foul territory it goes. And sliding over was Alyssa Washington, trying to make that grab. That's a player, Washington, who recently missed a couple of weeks due to an injury. Hustling over for that one. Nearly came up with the catch. You could see her face bumping up against the wall.
She almost had that one. It looked like that one was going to tail foul, but somehow stayed in field of play. But you see the hustle by Katie Stewart, Washington, and Maloney all trying to get there.
Another opportunity for Zedak. Full count coming up. Citlali Gutierrez with a top 25 ERA in the nation entering today. And Northwestern has their first base runner, 2-out walk to Angela Zedak. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Hannah Cady, a senior out of Clarkston, Michigan. Everyday starter over at third for the last 3 years. There's a base knock to left field. If there was one concern Mike White has voiced to us throughout the year at times, it's been the first inning, and a number of times with Gutierrez in the circle. In all but one of Texas's losses this year, the opponent has scored in the first inning. A number of times with Gutierrez in there, and now she's allowed 2 on with 2 away here in the first.
Well, it's not allowing the opposing team to generate momentum and get themselves going in the first inning. And Gutierrez looked like she was going to have a clean slate, retiring Kansas Robinson and Kelsey Nader quickly. But you have to be able to slam that door. That third out has to be a focus. So a lot of times you tell a pitcher to focus on the first pitch, first inning, or well, excuse me, first pitch, first batter, first inning. Get all of those out of the way. But after the first batter, which is the first out usually, you also have to think about the third out. You have to focus to get that third out too, and not just assume in a clean slate it's going to fall into play.
Facing a talented freshman in Emma Ray. Count goes 1-1. Member of the Big Ten all-freshman team and all-defensive team. 10 home runs on the year for Ray, most by any freshman in the Big Ten. Well,
right now, Gutierrez struggling to find the zone arm side, so that inside corner to the right-handed hitter, she's unable to locate. She can't figure that out. That gives Northwestern the opportunity to just sit the outer half.
The count evened up at 2. Again, the winner of this game moves on to tomorrow. The loser will have to play in the final game tonight against the winner of Siena and St. Francis. Another strong crowd on hand here for game number 1 of the day at McCombs Field. The 2-2 with 2 on and 2 away. Just getting a piece of that is Ray.
That was a really nice off-speed curve by Gutierrez, and Ray just able to nick the backside of that as it was curving away from her. But you have to remember, Alex, Northwestern isn't going to go quietly. With 2 outs yesterday, they scored 5 of those 7 runs.
Some clutch hitting by the Wildcats last night and all season long. Made the NCAA postseason 9 times now. The last 10 years under Kate Drohan. Trying to jump out to the early lead here in Austin. And a battle going on right now between the freshman Ray and the sophomore Citlali Gutierrez. Gutierrez has picked up some big victories this year. Complete game shutout of UCLA. Wins over OU, Oklahoma State, Tennessee. An impressive resume. Swing and a miss. And Citlali Gutierrez.
I have to think Coach Drohan and staff gonna hope the hard thrower. A little bit late break, both inside and out. They say it's like a 2-seamer, not true spin horizontally, but it has some late break that tails away. See if they can keep Texas off balance.
Delivered strike 1 to Ashton Maloney. Remember the all Big 12 first team. If you missed it last night, Northwestern in their first game of the regional started the Big Ten pitcher of the year, Ashley Miller. She walked 2 and threw a wild pitch that allowed a run. They pulled her after 21 pitches and brought in Grudzelanek. As Kat said, got out of a number of bases-loaded jams. And it will be interesting to see here through just the rest of the regional who they opt to go with. Miller's been so good all year, but now Grudzielanek making her second appearance in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, coming into this weekend, Grudzielanek only 40+ innings. Ashley Miller really has been the workhorse. 153.1 innings so far this season. And you see the distribution there. Grudzielanek didn't get over 50 until last night coming into that game, as you mentioned, Alex, in the second inning. But not a lot of experience on the other arms for the Wildcats.
1-2 on the way to Maloney, and that one misses. Ashton Maloney, one of the most underrated players you will see across the nation. Top 20 batting average in the country coming into this weekend, but not the first name people necessarily think of when you look at this Texas lineup, but Northwestern retires her for the first out. One away now for Mia Scott. This Texas offense leading the nation in batting average. Came into the regional with a program record 379 average. And third in scoring, Mia Scott, a huge part of that. Second best hitter in program history when you talk about career batting average.
And the steady play that Mia Scott has had since she arrived on the 40 acres is just impressive. Coach White said she was Janae Jefferson 2.0, but with different style. And Mia Scott been able to use the short game some. You see the way she can run the bases. Her and Janae Jefferson play very different, but the consistency of the two is what I believe he was comparing. And in that regard, Mia Scott has done exactly like the four-time All-American Janae Jefferson in being able to every year get a little bit better and a little bit better and still impact this lineup.
And lofty praise for Scott, comparing her to Jefferson. Scott having a career year at the plate as the count goes 2-2. She enters today hitting .409. Full count on the way.
Well, interesting. We didn't see Grudzielanek throw a whole lot of changeups yesterday. Had a few, but already 3 here in this at-bat to Mia Scott.
And there's a walk to Mia Scott. Texas has their first base runner. Here comes a red-hot batter in Vivi Martinez, the all-Big 12 second teamer. He's really turned it on the second half of the season, led the Big 12 in doubles and conference play. Solo home run yesterday, went 3 for 3 with the walk. And Kat, a few weeks ago, had an absolutely monster series against Texas Tech. She drove in 13 in that series.
Well, really, you look back, and Vivi Martinez had a little up and down start to the season. Started getting a little bit consistent, but got really hot when Oklahoma came to town. And she was so crucial in that series for Texas to pick up the 2 victories. And since then, the sophomore has just stayed hot. And that's the hardest part, is being able to stay consistent with your power, your gap-to-gap shots. You know, we talk a lot about Reese Atwood, and you'll talk about a little bit of a down spurt even in her hitting, and that was because Reese Atwood was hitting singles instead of home runs and doubles. The average was still pretty good. But the way Vivi Martinez has been able to see the ball and commit to her pitch and drive it hard, it's been really impressive for over half the season.
Yeah, Reese Atwood, National Player of the Year candidate, has gotten a large chunk of the attention, with so many weapons around her as well, including Martinez.
Nice line shot off the bat with Martinez.
Sends one foul. So you have Scott over at first. Texas has stolen 83 bases on the year, but they are facing a catcher with a great arm in Emma Ray. So it'll be interesting to see when they pick and choose to run.
Well, Mia Scott's stolen base numbers down this year as well. Only attempted 6 steals so far this season.
Martinez back up the middle, snared by Donahue. What a play by the shortstop, Bridget Donahue.
That I've ever seen horses and Longhorns.
Wow, that is good stuff. Here is Bridget Donahue coming off that spectacular play in the field she made. This is a player who was highly recruited coming out of Arizona. Top 15 recruit in the nation. She made up her mind early, however. She was going to Northwestern, verbally committed as an 8th grader. Like strike one from Gutierrez.
There's a good number of athletes that the sophomore class right now is the last class that was able to commit that early. There was a rule change that forced everyone to refrain from contacting athletes until they were a junior in high school. But this sophomore class across the country, the last that could commit that young, and a lot of them did. 8th grade, they thought they had to make their mind up, and I'm not gonna lie, I think that might be some of the increase in portal activity too. As an 8th grader, do you really know what you want as compared to a junior?
How old were you when you verbally committed?
Oh, so the rules were even stricter then. They couldn't.
I mean, with your talent, it was probably preschool.
No, I was actually purely a basketball player for a long time. But no, I didn't decide actually until the fall of my senior year, so about a month and a half before signing day. And that was normal then.
Donahue over to third, scooped up by Mia Scott. Okay, so you waited it out. You took some time.
Yeah, well, we couldn't talk on the phone with them until I think it was July 1st, the summer in between junior and senior years, when you could just now start talking to them. So you got to know them and set up visits for the fall when school started again. And now at least they have that opportunity as a junior, so you have a little bit more time to prepare for signing day and all of that. But yeah, that was the norm.
Here's Isabel Cunha, the freshman out of Illinois, who got their big 7-run inning started yesterday against St. Francis. Was hit by a pitch to begin the inning, and then later delivered a 2-run double in that same inning.
Now you see Citlali Gutierrez using that arm side pitch inside to these righties better this inning. Got ahead of Donahue on that inside corner, now trying to use it against Cunha as well.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
That off-speed curveball is just a thing of beauty, especially when she can execute it like that, knee height. Looks like it's coming in. As a hitter, you think it might be a hard curveball. You're way ahead, and it just continues to glide on the outer half.
Now keep in mind, Gutierrez racked up 10 strikeouts against Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. That was the first time Oklahoma had struck out 10 times in a game in 4 years. Now Oklahoma won that game, but Gutierrez rebounded nicely after struggling a bit early.
Talking to Coach White, he liked the way she rebounded. He liked the way she executed some of her off-speed pitches, but he also said there was room for improvement. There were some very tight situations where he didn't feel like she executed the location. And he said when pressure's on is when we need to be at our best, so they're going to continue to challenge their pitching staff in those pressure-packed situations.
Full count on the way. We saw yesterday at times some pitchers struggling to deal with the heat, losing their grip at times. It is expected to be an extremely hot day out here at McCombs Field. Again, this is the first of 3 games. The fans are out. Plenty of fans with them here at McCombs Field.
And we talked about the shift that Northwestern had on to take away the hit from Vivian Martinez that went up the middle. Cunha, a pull hitter, and you see Texas overloading the infield with all 3 infielders there on the left side.
Cunha fouls one in that direction.
Well, and the key here with that, even with the off-speed pitch, is making sure you get it corner and off, because if you leave it middle to where she can drive it, to the hole at second base where Alyssa Washington normally is, then you're pitching against your shift. But right now you see Texas continuing to hammer the inner half.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat on the way from Gutierrez. Called strike 3. Second K of the day, and Cunha a bit stunned as she heads back to the dugout.
From up here, this pitch looked good. Cunha might think that's a little low, but that is a good off-speed pitch by Citlali Gutierrez. Reese Atwood does a great job working under that ball, bringing it back into the zone. A big strikeout for the second out there.
2 away for Ainsley Muno, who takes strike 1. Ever since Muno took over as the everyday starter at first base earlier in the year, this team has taken off 26 and 5, actually. 26 and 5 since the freshman took over at first. And so many new faces, so many players here experiencing postseason play for the first time in their careers for Northwestern.
The first time being an everyday player, first time feeling the pressure of having to perform. It all comes to head at some point, but at the same time, you talk about the experience the coaching staff has in these situations. Add it together, and now you get literally the best offensive season a hitter has had here at Texas, and it's only year 2 for Reese Atwood.
Hard to believe the national leader in RBIs this year. Singled yesterday, walked with the bases loaded. So got an RBI there, delivers a base knock here. Reese Atwood is aboard.
An inside pitch up in the zone, and she's just able to drive that into the gap. Northwestern playing some shifts, really playing the Texas Sprays. Zidak over a little bit, so that ball doesn't get to the fence, but Reese Atwood leading Texas off here in the second.
First hit of the day for Texas. Here is the freshman Katie Stewart. Mike White has praised for doing a great job protecting Atwood in the lineup. In .393, 12 home runs, doubled yesterday.
Well, the depth and production around Reese Atwood, as you mentioned, Stewart protecting her, is what makes other teams not be able to avoid her. You really can't pitch around her, and haven't seen her intentionally walked too many times this year. You have seen where they don't give her anything good, see if she gets herself out, and Texas helping her to adjust to that scenario. But when you have the power of Katie Stewart and the consistency, really, again, another freshman for Texas, second half of the season, really heated up. And that consistency really helps Reese Atwood get to see better pitches.
Katie Stewart has cracked a few of those windows out beyond left field in the grad student housing building. See what she's got in store here. Fans lining the field. The sun beating down, you can see the umbrellas out. Again, it's going to be a scorcher today, but how about the strikeout for Riley Grudzelanek? Freshman getting it done.
Well, Grudzelanek using this ball away from Stewart, just paints the corner. Nice spot, knee height, outer half. Stewart goes down looking.
Kate Drohan called her the hardest thrower on the team. Grudzelanek missed about a month with injuries. It was a big-time prospect coming out of Wisconsin. Alyssa Washington showing bunt. Washington, the first captain in the history of the program, having a career year at the plate, hitting .342 with 8 home runs. He's kind of been platooning over at second for the past month or so. A little bit of that due to injuries.
Well, really a utility infielder that has played everywhere but first base. We've seen her at third, second, short. But the key has been offensively.
And the captain gives one a ride. It is gone. Texas is on the board. A two-run blast for Alyssa Washington. A souvenir for the fans. And a 2-0 Texas lead here in the second.
Well, Alex, as I was saying, the key has been offensively. Alyssa Washington has continued to improve, not just her average, but her power numbers. And the captain, the senior, the first big bash of this game today.
Texas is 38-0 on the year when scoring first. I think that's the same guy who's grabbed a number of those. He must have a whole shelf lined with, I'm sure, a good chunk Katie Stewart softballs. She's hit a number of bombs out to left field this year. There's one off the bat of Washington.
I have to wonder if he waits after the game and tries to give them back to them, or...
Here's Jolie Mitchell. She watches the count go 2-0. This is a Northwestern pitching staff that came in with a top 25 ERA in the nation. They led the Big Ten in ERA. Again, they only gave up 2 runs last night. They've already equaled that mark here today. Strike one to the transfer from Notre Dame. Jolie Mitchell's average has never dipped below 360 all season long. And another base hit for Texas. Third of the inning. And now they seem to be timing up Grudzielanek pretty well.
Well, even in the first inning, the hit up the middle that Vivi Martinez ended up being a ground ball double play was a well-hit ball, but now Texas finding the holes, also not letting
The best returning pitcher ended up having to redshirt this year.
Well, and the experience that a pitcher like Boyd would provide your program and taking that hit, it really it forces you as a staff to have to readjust. And I'm sure Northwestern planned for Ashley Miller to come in and get a good chunk, but be maybe a 1-2 combo with Boyd. Instead, Miller was the one, and as you saw our pitch distribution, the other pitchers all 50 innings or less until today. Grudzielanek now up over 50. But that's a big differential in the way you use a pitching staff and for athletes to get comfortable in this D1 atmosphere.
0-2 count to the freshman Caden Henry. We mentioned Lauren Boyd. They said she is still the heartbeat of this team. A leader from her position in the dugout, out for this year with an injury. Said she's been like another coach in the dugout, a steadying presence as she looks on.
When an athlete goes out, especially what should have been their senior year, it's easy to feel bad for yourself. It's a lot harder to turn that into an opportunity to do something better.
Caden Henry sends one to left. Another home run for the Longhorns. Their second of the inning. 4-0 Texas. That's why she's a top 10 candidate for National Freshman of the Year, Caden Henry.
Well, we saw her use small ball yesterday, a couple bump base hits. She gets down in the count here, able to continue to time up Grudzielanek. That pitch on the outer half and drives that opposite field. Oppo taco for the freshman.
2 home runs and 2 singles for Texas here in the bottom of the second inning. Again, they're the 3rd highest scoring team in the nation. Their impressive season continues.
Gotta love a good combo of power and speed.
Here is their veteran presence in left field, Bella Dayton. She sends one to right, charging in and making the diving grab is Nader. That is exactly what Northwestern needed.
Well, just when it looks like Texas is going to continue the momentum, Nader comes on strong. Nice dive, snaring that single from Bella Dayton.
Either or.
I think I meant stabbing. We got snapping.
All the above. That's a team that is desperately in need of some momentum, and they needed a play like that. They've been a terrific defensive team for a large part of the season. And that was out number 2. Back up to the top we go, Ashton Maloney.
Cunningham comes in, strike offering to Bella Dayton. But you're right, Alex. Northwestern needed something to go their way for them to slow down this a little bit, give themselves a little bit of breathing room.
And for the Wildcats, they've had to rally numerous times this year, including last night. It's still very early in this one. Again, the winner advances to Championship Sunday. The loser of this contest will have to play in the final game later on tonight in an elimination contest against the winner of St. Francis and Siena. There are the Saints of Siena waiting in the wings to take on the Red Flash of St. Francis. There's strike 2, full count on the way now to Maloney.
No, I think if I went to Siena, I'd want a live St. Bernard to go everywhere with us. Like a therapy dog.
That's why they're called the Saints, the St. Bernards. We don't see any St. Bernards roaming the streets here behind the ballpark like we did Longhorns. Donahue involving these 4 teams. Of course, not the only action. Plenty going on around the country and some upsets too, Kat.
Well, yeah, Liberty already upset Georgia in their first game of the day there in Athens, and that was a 7-3 score. Meanwhile, we talked about Southeastern Louisiana yesterday. They are currently, it just updated. Alabama just took a 3-1 lead in the 9th, but they were tied 1-1 after regulation and now into the 9th inning. But Southeastern Louisiana has the home advantage there. We'll be able to come up in the bottom of the 9th and see if they can go ahead and tie that one.
No upsets yet here. The Austin Regional. Ziana Lindsay takes strike 1 from Citlali Gutierrez. That Southeastern Louisiana team pulled off the upset over Clemson yesterday. And you dug up a stat that was absolutely mind-boggling involving them as the 2-1 all the way for Gutierrez. Strike 2.
Well, I'm not going to take Amanda Scarborough's thunder.
There you
it really
go.
was her stat. But there are only 3 teams in the regional play that have a top 10 batting average and a top 10 ERA for their programs. And Texas, Oklahoma, and Southeastern Louisiana is the 3rd.
How about the Lions? Staying alive is Lindsay. Texas, of course, in that category, number 1 in batting average, number 8 in ERA. And it's odd, you don't usually see teams this dominant all season long who don't have an obvious go-to ace. Texas just has a stable of very talented pitchers. But at different times throughout the year, a different one has taken on a starring role.
Well, and that's the advantage that Texas has. Without that everyone knows ace, opposing offenses have to prepare for multiple arms, not knowing who you're going to get. Now, in crucial situations, I would say Citlali Gutierrez has been more of the ace for Texas, but then you have freshman Tegan Cavan, more innings. Got the all-region nod this morning. First team all-central region. But it really makes opposing teams and staffs have to really do their homework to prepare your offense.
Gutierrez walked the leadoff hitter, Ayana Lindsay, was aboard over at first. Here is Kansas Robinson, the sophomore, takes one to right field. Maloney right there. One away. Interesting, after a walk, swinging at the first pitch.
Yeah, Citlali Gutierrez has staved off any damage from the Northwestern offense, but she does have 4 at-bats against the Wildcats that have all been 7 pitches or more. So some of the key members of this lineup really making her work. But yeah, one of those was the walk to Lindsay, and Robinson goes after the first pitch after that.
Here's Kelsey Nader, 2 for 2 yesterday. Nader had a big game against Texas last year. Reached 4 times, couple of walks, couple of hits. Gutierrez got an extended rest in that bottom of the second inning. Before that, had struck out 3 of the previous 4 batters she had faced.
And when you have the noon game and the heat that Texas offers, those extra couple minutes in a dugout, an extra 10 minutes or so when your offense is able to get runners on and produce, it makes a big difference. Allows you to stay a little bit cooler. You see Citlali Gutierrez wearing sleeves. Allows you to dry out a bit.
Now behind 3-1, and she'll call time. A quick chat with Reese Atwood there in the circle.
Well, it looked like Citlali Gutierrez, she called that herself, so I don't know if she's asking Reese where she's missing on a couple of those pitches. Not the last one, it was high out of the zone. Or if she's just taking an extra second to regroup herself.
Again, the winner of this regional will advance to face the winner of the Texas A&M regional. This is Elimination Saturday. Only 2 teams will remain here after the day is done. This one sent to deep right field off the bat of Nader and gone! Northwestern answers with a 2-run shot courtesy of Kelsey Nader. Again, this is a team that has fought back from deficits all season long, including last night. And they are on the board here in the 3rd today.
Well, Nader in a hitter's count, ready for the pitch on the inner half. That up in the zone, too, and Nader aggressive on that, drives that and clears the right field wall. That's why in crucial situations, especially with runners on, you have to work ahead. When you allow a hitter to get comfortable, they can swing freely, and Nader did that to cut this lead in half.
We mentioned she had a really strong performance against Texas last year, reaching 4 times and carrying that.
So the locations that she sometimes flashes brilliance of is not apparent here in the 3rd inning.
Here is Angela Zedak, grad student out of Chicago. This is a clutch postseason player. Went yard against Bama last year, the Tuscaloosa Super Regional. Homered in their regional the year before. And now a 3-0 count from Gutierrez.
Well, she was 3-1 to Nader.
There is strike 1. No action in the Texas bullpen. Saw, of course, Mac Morgan toss the no-hitter last night. There was Tegan Kavan at the bottom of your screen, and another walk issued in this inning. Gutierrez so far here in the 3rd. 2 walks and a 2-run homer allowed.
We saw last night, Northwestern was able to take advantage of free passes, and they will continue to work the count and get their timing. Right now, Gutierrez struggling to locate both her off-speed and her hard pitch.
Anna Katie singled in the 1st inning. Driven in more than 100 runs in her career. It's a Northwestern offense that averages just under 6 runs per game. Put up 7 last night. Again, all 7 of those runs coming in 1 inning. Gutierrez already up to 60 pitches on a very hot day in Austin.
Very interesting outing so far for Gutierrez. First inning, struggled controlling the inside part of the plate to righty. Second inning looked like she really got her footing and was in a good groove, but here in the third inning has struggled again location-wise.
Swing and a miss, and there is a strikeout for Citlali Gutierrez, number 4 on the day.
Gutierrez does a great job with her off-speed pitch here, keeping it on the outer half. Knee height again, that is the key for Gutierrez. She is at her best when all of her pitches right above the knee to right below the knee, and she's able to work that lower part of the zone.
Here's the hard-hitting freshman Emma Ray, and she takes ball 1. Through the first 2 innings, Gutierrez struck out 3, allowed a single and a walk. This inning, a homer and a couple of walks as conversations take place with Hannah Cady and her head coach, Kate Drohan.
I'm wondering if Katie was talking about that off-speed pitch that Gutierrez just threw. Is she has an off-speed curve and she'll throw it to both sides of the plate. So she'll also throw it away to a righty where it looks like it's too far out and it kind of comes back to the far corner, or it makes you reach like Katie did. You saw her talking about the spin, saying it's not tumbling down and it doesn't drop, it just stays straight.
Emma Ray launches one to left field. Bella Dayton backing up and makes the grab just on the edge of the warning track. And we got ourselves a ball game. Is right back in this ball game. Coach, you rallied from a deficit last night. You were down here 4-0. What did you tell your team to inspire them and get some fight back in this squad?
Well, I think we had a couple of good at-bats in that last inning, but I think our team understands momentum. You know, you give up 4, and you got to throw a punch right away to stay in the game. So this is a battle ahead of us, but I like how we responded.
Coach, talking about momentum, Cunningham obviously enters and was able to shut that momentum down that Texas had. What are you looking for out of her as she enters the circle here in this game?
We really need her to hit good levels. You know, she does a nice job of changing speeds as well, but we've got to keep the ball down.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks. Go Cats.
Kate Drohan has made 8 super regionals, 3 trips to the Women's College World Series. And they are down by 2 here as we hit the bottom of the 3rd inning. Renee Cunningham remains in the circle. Again, we saw them go through a number of pitchers, 4 to be exact last night. They've already used 2 different ones today. The freshman Riley Grudzalanek started and was replaced by fellow freshman Renee Cunningham, who will now face Mia Scott. Scott lays down the bunt, and that one thrown down the line into right field. The first baseman wasn't there in time, and the leadoff hitter, Scott, is aboard at second. Well, trying to cover first was Robinson after Muno charged into the circle. And just miscommunication there as the Wildcats allow a runner in scoring position.
Well, where Robinson was playing, she was farther up the middle to play Mia Scott for hits up the middle. And the fact that that bunt didn't get out in front of the plate, it rolled right back. Ray, knowing she had to rush the throw with the speed of Scott, but not looking up to see if Robinson was there yet or not, gave Mia Scott the extra 60 feet.
There is Vivi Martinez. Hit into a double play, a hard hit ball to end the first inning. To short, here's another one to short, handled again by Donahue as Scott advances to third.
Northwestern has Donahue really shifted up the middle when Vivi Martinez is up to bat, taking away 2 hits now from the sophomore. But you have to tip your hat to your pitcher too, because they have to pitch into the shift, so you have to execute good spots in order for the shift to work. And Cunningham able to do that on the outer half there to Vivi Martinez.
Here is the national leader in RBIs, Reese Atwood, who takes ball 1. The first Longhorn to win Big 12 Player of the Year in a decade. sitting on 22 home runs this year, shattering the previous record by a Longhorn. Sends one to center field. Should be deep enough to score a run. Scott tags and comes home. Texas up by 3. Another RBI for Atwood, who's now 5 away from tying the Big 12 single-season record.
Great job by Texas there just to play station-to-station softball. Let Mia Scott go ahead and just advance. Reese Atwood just barely missed that one.
Katie Stewart launches one foul. Stewart with her 12 home runs. 5th most home runs by a Power 5 freshman in the nation. Talk to her head coach, Mike White, coming up in just a bit. Stewart was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Fouls went off of her.
I don't know what that feels like, but I don't want to know what that feels like.
You've been on the other end of that, delivering those.
Delivering the spinny things that get off your bat into your foot and your shin.
Stewart shakes it off. Gets a hand from the crowd here at McCombs Field. Count 1 and 2 with 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Sends one to right center field. Charging in is Nader. And another strong grab by the right fielder, but Texas, #1 overall seed. What's the key for your squad at this time of the year now that you've hit the postseason?
Well, get on base, score runs, and pitch good defense, right? That's what the game comes down to. But we just got to understand that it's a new game. We just got to do what makes us successful the whole year.
Coach Citlali Gutierrez has shown some flashes of brilliance in this game, but that rough 3rd inning as Northwestern kind of started to mount a little bit of a comeback. Yeah. What's the conversation there in the dugout with her in that half inning?
Well, we got to work ahead, right? I mean, you score 4 runs, you give up a walk or 2 walks in that inning. It's a recipe for problems, so we can't do that. And then you got to see what happens this inning. If she can't find the strike zone, we're going to have to make a change.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Hookham.
Citlali Gutierrez now with 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, a couple of earned runs, and 2 hits as she gets ready for the 4th.
You gotta love his straight to the point
honesty.
We score 4, you can't walk 2. That just can't happen. And he's not wrong. Obviously, you score 4, you don't want to put people on for free. Make them earn it. And obviously, Nader got into that one and 2-run home run, but that should be a solo shot if you don't give a free pass up. Force Northwestern to get consecutive hits versus consecutive runners on base or opportunities in hitters' counts.
Here is Bridget Donahue, 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up in this inning for Northwestern. When you talk about walks, Donahue, one of the most patient hitters on the team. He leads the squad with 32 walks. Is ahead here 1-0. Count evened up. Well, at this point, is the mindset for Northwestern kind of sit back and make Gutierrez throw strikes, considering the walks you talked about in the last inning?
Well, you don't want to be too patient. You don't want to not be aggressive as she is around the zone, because then you get yourself in a hole. But at the same time, you look at what has she been executing for a strike, and if it is not that pitch or that half of the plate, then yes, you go ahead and wait.
Gutierrez now ahead 1-2.
Interesting to see here again, Texas in the shift against Nader, or excuse me, against Donahue, and she tried to lay down the bunt down the first baseline 2 pitches ago, trying to exploit that shift.
See what she does here with the 1-2 on the way. Northwestern in a regional for the 6th consecutive postseason, the longest streak of any school in the Big Ten. Donahue ropes one in between third and I guess you'll call it third and half short there. He had two shortstops and a third baseman, and Donahue still found a way to get it to left field.
Well, when they're in the shift, you have to know they're going to attack the inner half, and she's able to just get her barrel down to this ball in the inner half and thread the needle right there between Mia Scott and Vivian Martinez. There wasn't much room, but Donahue finds it.
Yeah, nice precision there off the bat of the sophomore. Here comes Isabel Cunha, who was a strikeout victim in the second. Corners playing in for Cunha.
Well, sack situation here. Northwestern's just trying to chip away, which they can still. It's not late in the game. You don't have to play for 3 and 4 runs right now. You can try to get one and continue to just chip away at the 3-run lead that Texas has.
There is the freshman, Tegan Cavan, top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year, warming up. So far, we've seen Gutierrez and Morgan pitch in this regional for Texas. Northwestern has used every pitcher in their stable. Scott leaping over to second for one, on to first for two. Double play, Texas.
This is pure athleticism. Mia Scott leaps. You see the transition as she's coming down. Alyssa Washington turns the double play so quickly. 2 quick outs for Texas, but Mia Scott, the transition on the way down to be able to deliver a strike to Alyssa Washington at second base, incredible.
A comebacker finds its way past a diving Washington. 4th hit of the contest, 2nd of the inning for Northwestern. That one courtesy of Ainsley Muno. So 2-way 1-on now for Ayanna Lindsay in the 9th spot. Had a nice weekend so far. Walked in the 3rd, 2 hits last night.
Well, remember, Alex, we talked to Kate Drohan, and she said if they can get 2-3 bags out of 7, 8, and 9 in their lineup, then offensively, they're usually able to start making things go. And 8-hole just got on, and you saw Lindsay have the walk in the 3rd inning. So 8 and 9 right now, able to get Northwestern a little bit of fire going.
Northwestern with 4 hits, Texas with 5. Both teams using the long ball. Texas with 2 home runs, Northwestern with 1, don't forget. Coming up after this one at about 2:30. Send you over across the street to Texas baseball. As Gutierrez delivers strike 2 there. One-two to Lindsay with 2 away. Chopped over to Martinez. And the inning comes to an end. Top of the 4th is in the books. And to the bottom half, still a 3-run. And Mitchell and Henry do up for Texas here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The #1 overall seed getting home runs from Washington, as well as Caden Henry back in the 2nd inning. So Washington is extending her career high to 9 home runs this year. And that average just under 350. That one past 3rd and short, 2nd hit of the day for the captain.
Alyssa Washington just turns on this one, and Katie there at 3rd thought it was going to hop up. It stays down and gets right past Donahue, too. Leadoff single for the senior.
Texas has had at least a base runner in every inning so far. And they have one here. Jolie Mitchell up now. She singled in the 2nd. 380 hitter. And she's maintained that average despite being in and out of the lineup at times. Didn't begin her Texas career earlier this year as an everyday starter. but was just too good to keep out of the lineup. And she delivers. Mitchell and Washington now both 2 for 2. And a curtsy there as well.
You never know what gets them fired up and what their dancing and their signatures are over on each base, but she's able to drive this just past a shifted Robinson. You see her up the middle a little bit. Don't see Jolie Mitchell go opposite field too often, so able to get that one past the sophomore over there at second base.
This bottom half of the order has given Northwestern pitching trouble. Alyssa Washington with 2 hits, Mitchell with 2, and Caden Henry is looking for her second. She delivered a 2-run blast in the second. Throw back to second. You look at the top 3 hitters in the Texas lineup, they've combined for just 1 single. As we said, a good chunk of this offense coming from the bottom half.
And that's what makes Texas so deep, is the fact they don't just rely on one part of the lineup.
That one grabbed by a diving Muno, but can't make a play on it. The bases will be loaded.
Well, Caden Henry pulls this chopper, and Muno, knowing that they have to protect the hole, goes down to the ground to get it. Looks like she might have rolled her ankle on that one, but the speed of Henry, Muno was never going to make it back to first base. Really good job by Jolie Mitchell dodging a tag there. Muno almost was able to dive and reach with the glove.
And how about Caden Henry now joining Washington and Mitchell? They're all 2 for 2 in the bottom half of that lineup. The bases loaded, no outs, and a big opportunity for the player her teammates call postseason Bella. Was a star of that 2022 run to the Women's College World Series Champ Series. And trying to break things open here with the bases full of horns. Strike 1, however, from Cunningham.
Big situation with no outs here for Texas. Hitting .410 with bases loaded. Opportunity for Bella Mitchell to increase that.
Well, misses outside. In this round of the postseason last year, Dayton reached 8 times. In the 2023 regional. Had 1 hit yesterday, sends this one to center field. Charging in to make the grab is Lindsay. Tagging and sliding in to score is Washington. Everybody's safe as Texas extends their lead to 4 here in the 4th.
This is an easy sac fly for Bella Dayton, but Jolie Mitchell trying to advance to third does get wide of the bag. The throw by Emma Ray there in plenty of time. But Hannah Katie just...
Season, top 20 in the country in batting average. She's got 2 on here with just 1 away. Strike 1 from the freshman.
Northwestern defense forced to play in, not only to cut down the run at home, but with the speed of Ashton Maloney and the way she's able to use her slap.
Runner is going, and there will be no throw. Stolen base for Caden Henry, her Big 12 leading 24th of the year.
I was interested to see what Northwestern was going to do in that situation with the speed of Henry. They were going to slide all the way or throw all the way through or not.
2-1 now to Maloney.
Cunningham trying to work the outer part of the plate, force Maloney to put a ball over to Katie or Donahue. Make Jolie Mitchell have to second guess at third base.
Maloney over to second. Nice grab by Robinson. She goes home, not in time. Mitchell scores 7-2 Longhorns.
Well, Maloney hits this one hard. It gets to Robinson quick, but the double clutch, she should have just secured the first out. Understand you don't want to allow Texas to score anymore, but the double clutch allows Jolie Mitchell to score easily.
So again, runners on the corners, still only one out. And here is Mia Scott. Scott sends one to deep right center field. Gone! A three-run blast for Mia Scott. And Texas has broken this one open. And that will put Northwestern down to their final 3 outs of the game. Texas in run rule territory once they hit the next inning.
Well, this pitch just over the heart of the plate, and Mia Scott ready to do damage. Majority of her power is pull side, and she gets that ball right center field. The junior coming up big at the top, in the top part of the order for Texas.
Texas's 3rd home run of the contest. Scott, Washington, and Henry. So again, now that Texas is up by 8, Northwestern will have 3 outs remaining in the top of the 5th inning to try and extend this game. Martinez fouls one off. Longhorn shot out to a 4-0 lead after 2. Northwestern answered with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. But Texas's offense just keeps coming up big in this one.
Well, unlike yesterday, Alex, Texas got 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run. Today, they've been able to do it in bunches. You have the single run in the 3rd inning that they manufactured. But other than that, they have been able to have consecutive quality at-bats that have piled on crooked numbers for the Longhorns here.
And that one hits Martinez. Four RBIs shy of tying the Big 12 single season record. She's currently sitting on 88 for the year. One and one.
The more this game goes on, you can see how Northwestern is really going to attack the Texas offense, and it's shown by the defensive shifts right now. So even
Atwood rips one to left field. That'll roll all the way back to the wall. Martinez will hold up at 3rd. That's a stand-up double for Reese Atwood. Her 2nd hit of the day.
Well, talking about Northwestern shift, they had Robinson up the middle, but they had Zidak over into the gap more as Reese Atwood likes that left center gap. She goes down the line with this one. Stand-up double for the sophomore sensation.
She'll be replaced at 2nd by a pinch runner, Ashley Miller. But meanwhile, here's Cammie Henry facing Katie Stewart with 2 in scoring position. Only 1 out. Stewart to left field. Zidak on the run, makes the grab. Runner tags. Another run home for Texas. Make it 11-2 Longhorns. And Texas has now batted around here in the 4th. I think we may have a discussion here. We saw Kate Drohan, head coach of Northwestern. She tagged and scored. It is an 11-2 Texas lead. Here comes Alyssa Washington, who began this inning with a single. Washington 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer. Well, we saw stellar pitching from Texas yesterday in the no-hitter. The offense showing up today in the 11-run performance, and the defense has been clean in both games so far.
Both teams touting their defense and how well they've played not only this year, but here this weekend. And we've seen some great plays by Northwestern, whether it's diving catches to keep balls in the infield. The one error on the bunt single. But other than that, really great defense on both sides.
And the hit parade continues. The captain, Alyssa Washington, is 3 for 3, driving in another run. Texas by 10.
Washington, this pitch on the outer half, not trying to do too much, just drives it right up the middle. Lets Adea Washington do, or excuse me, Adea Wallace do what she does, and that's able to score from second easily.
The 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Washington, Mitchell, and Henry, now 7 for 7. Here is Jolie Mitchell, a couple of singles. Well, Mike White said it early on in the year, it's the deepest team he has had since arriving here at Austin. And you can see that on full display today.
When you can get offensive production top to bottom of the lineup, obviously as a coach you're very pleased, but when your top part might go a little bit quiet, when you have a bottom part that can be the spark plug, it just allows your team not to put too much pressure on.
Mitchell gives one a ride, and that one is gone. Make it a 14-2 lead. Texas's 4th home run of the contest.
Jolie Mitchell gets this pitch up and in, a rise ball from Henry, and she drives that, sneaks it right inside the foul pole. Jolie Mitchell getting in on the power display. I'll just correct you, that's now 8 for 8 with the 6, 7, and 8 holes.
Incredible. Big props to Dana Sherman getting all those shots. Staying cool under the umbrella. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Very busy out there. Getting a close-up shot of all these home runs. And meanwhile, Texas sending up a pinch hitter. Victoria Hunter fouling one off. Don't forget, Northwestern went yard as well. And again, this is double elimination for Northwestern. Just one game. They will live to play another game. Get a chance to regroup potentially later on tonight.
Hunter, the freshman, getting an opportunity here. Used mainly as a pinch hitter this season. Coach White talking to her early on about how she was going to be in that role. Let's embrace it as a freshman, get some at-bats, get comfortable. 34 at-bats on the year, but has come up big, hitting .412. Not an easy role for a freshman to embrace.
Last 2 freshman classes in particular. Two of the strongest in the nation brought in by Mike White, but there's an inning-ending strikeout. However, Texas and a new pitcher in the circle for the Longhorns, Estelle Check, taking over here in the 5th. The senior who's put up the best numbers of her career this season.
Well, Check really been able to own this relief role, and there were periods of time where the starters were going deep and she didn't get a lot of innings. Went to Coach White and said, what do I need to do? And he basically told her, it's not you. It's not what else you need to do. We just have starters going deep. But down the stretch, she has had some really clutch moments for Texas. And getting her first postseason innings of her senior year here. And rewind, 2022. She got the win over Oklahoma State in that elimination game in Oklahoma City.
Has come up with some big performances in her career. Misses there as the count evened up to Kansas Robinson at the top of the order. And a full count on the way. Again, Next game here from McCombs Field, the Siena and St. Francis, as Lali Gutierrez looks on. Red flash and the Saints at about 2:30 Central here in Austin. One away as Robinson flies out.
Well, that was not an easy first out for Estelle Check, working ahead of Robinson. Then 3 close pitches. None getting called her way, but all 3 good challenge pitches. But doesn't give in. Doesn't give in to give up the free pass. Able to secure out number 1 here for Texas.
Texas in the hunt for their 21st run rule victory of the season. And for Northwestern, trying to end this game at least with a little something, a little bit of momentum, as looks like they will head into an elimination game a few hours from now. If you are Northwestern, what do you take away from this? What do you look ahead to later on tonight as your season will be on the line?
Well, you circle the response that they had in the top of the 3rd, because they were able, as Kate Drohan talked about, able to punch back when Texas put up a 4 spot. But what you have to shore up is your pitchers, hitting better spots, getting in good counts. But you're probably going to have to use the whole staff. We saw Ashley Miller with a short leash last night.
Base hit for Nader there.
And so the whole staff has to be able to have short-term memory, erase what happened today and go back to work against whoever their opponent is, but not carry this for the pitching staff over. Offensively, you take the bright spots, build on that. But really, what regionals makes you do is have to have the quick reset.
And then mentally you go from, okay, you won yesterday, you woke up today knowing you could advance to Championship Sunday, and a few hours after that you realize, oh my gosh, our season will be on the line tonight. Angela Zidak to right center. Ashton Maloney unable to hang on. The throw to second in time. They got Nader for out number 2.
Well, all-out effort by Ashton Maloney. It looks like she's going to have this, but it falls out as she dives. Heads up, though, by Alyssa Washington. A sidearm throw to get Nader second base. Texas, big defensive play there. Heads up by Washington.
Wildcats down to their last out of the contest. And at Katie, the cleanup hitter. The mask comes off. Atwood is there, and Texas has run-ruled Northwestern and advanced to Championship Sunday. For the Longhorns, their 14 runs are the most in program history in a regional contest.
Well, Texas got the offense going early and just never let up off the gas. Crooked numbers across the board, but the 9-run 4th inning. And we saw the power on display. Alex, yesterday Texas used small ball. Today, leaving the yard, able to end this one early.
4 home runs for Texas. Ashley Miller. But meanwhile, here's Cammie Henry facing Katie Stewart with 2 in scoring position. Only 1 out. Stewart to left field. Zedek on the run, makes the grab. Runner tags. Another run home for Texas. Make it 11-2 Longhorns. And Texas has now batted around here in the 4th. I think we may have a discussion here. We saw Kate Drohan, head coach of Northwestern,